Thank you for joining the Center for Financial Security for our webinar today, Financial Coaching, a webinar presentation of national training models. My name is Hali Lionheart, and I'm the Outreach Specialist for the Center for Financial Security here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison. I'm very excited that we were able to put this webinar together on this very important and timely topic. Based on results of the 2015 and 2016 Financial Coaching Census, we know that financial coaching training is one of the most requested resources by practitioners and funders of financial coaching alike. In the spring of 2017, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau held a financial coaching symposium with leaders and researchers in the field coming together to discuss strategies to improve financial coaching services. One of the key discussions focused on financial coaching training and how training is instrumental to producing quality services for the clients we serve. Today's webinar was actually born from a conversation that the Center for Financial Security had with the Financial Clinic, who is another very valuable partner in the field that is working diligently to improve and continue to expand the capacity of financial coaching programs, namely through their innovative online platform called Change Machine. In this conversation, we talked about the need for clarity and discussion around what trainings are available in the field and how those different trainings can fit the various needs of individuals and organizations. And to that end, this webinar today will focus on presenting information from 5 different national financial coaching training organizations and models, giving our audience the who, why, how, and what's next of these leading training programs. And just to give you a bit of a rundown of our format today, we will start with presentations from the 5 training organizations, followed with time for question and answer from the audience. I would like everyone to please feel free to submit questions in the box at the bottom of your screen throughout the webinar, and I will facilitate the Q&A, like I said, at the end of the webinar. I'm very excited to introduce our presenters for today's webinar. Peggy Olive is our Senior Financial Capability Specialist here at the University of Wisconsin-Madison Center for Financial Security and UW Cooperative Extension. Rebecca Wiggins is the Executive Director of the Association for Financial Counseling and Planning Education, AFCPE. Sandra Davis is the Executive Director of Sage Financial Solutions. Peggy Garcia Marquez is the Financial Coach Training Program Manager for Central New Mexico Community College, C&M Ingenuity, Inc. And Jana Bauer is Senior Director of Neighborworks Center for Homeownership Education and Counseling at Neighborworks America. Thank you all so much for being here today. And with that, we will get started as we do have quite a bit of information to share with you in our hour and a half that we will be holding this webinar. With that, I would like to turn it over to Peggy Olive. Thank you.
Thank you, Hallie, and thanks for pulling this webinar together. I'm very excited about all the sharing that we're going to have today. And I'm assuming you can hear me just fine. So I'm just going to talk a bit about the A4 Financial Coaching Foundations training that we offer through the UW Extension and UW-Madison Center for Financial Security. I posted our philosophy on that slide, so how we see coaching in our training is that it involves facilitating self-directed learning, and it's designed to increase both personal awareness and improve performance. And that self-directed learning is really the key, that the coach is there to facilitate the client's learning. A little bit about our workshop. It's a 12-hour, 2-day training. And we typically hold 2 to 3 workshops throughout the year in Wisconsin, so you'd have to travel to the beautiful state of Wisconsin. And we try to stay away when the snow's flying, but every once in a while, if you're a winter person, we could arrange that. It's an in-person instruction only for the 2 days. And typically the participants we have in our workshop, they include people from financial services, educators, financial educators. We've had volunteers, human service individuals, veteran services, so a wide range of people at our training. Some people use our financial coaching workshop as introduction, and then other people come back and use this as a refresher course. Currently our fee is $245 a person. Includes all the training materials, lunch, refreshments, and you get 1.2 CEUs through the University of Wisconsin system. A little bit about our workshop focus. So in our workshop, we really want to focus our 2 days on the coaching process. So we don't go over any financial competencies, and we really try to make it clear in our training that people need to have some financial education, financial background to participate in our training so that they don't get stumped when we refer to things like credit reports or budgets and things like that with the financial competencies. What we do cover in our workshop is a focus on the coaching skills, such as the communication and facilitation, looking at goal attainment, behavior change. And then we also use our coaching framework, our A4 model, that really just helps to guide the practice and applying the models and theories of coaching. And then we also spend time working on a coaching presence that includes, being aware of your own biases as a coach, being non-judgmental, having self-awareness and translating that into self-management. So objectives of our A4 financial coaching workshop is that participants coming to our workshop will learn and apply financial coaching communication skills, and they'll be able to practice those facilitation skills during the workshop. And we really focus on skills that are associated with positive goal attainment. Individuals will be able to gain strategies to help increase client motivation. And then also, as a coach, increasing your own awareness of your personal biases and your ability to self-manage so that the client is in charge of the session and the coach is there as a facilitator. We also help provide resources for coaching sessions, assessment, record keeping, so adding some more materials to your toolbox. And now I want to share a couple slides, just a little bit more background about our A4 financial coaching process. So the A4 stands for, the first one is alliance, and that kind of encircles the whole model because coaching is really a relationship based for goal attainment. So we're always focusing on those coaching skills and that coaching presence that helps cement that relationship and keep the motivation strong within that relationship and that accountability. Then we look at the agenda, and we know with the agenda, the client always picks the goal, and the coach facilitates the process of the client exploring and reaching that goal. We spend time in the awareness where we really help explore insights and discuss increasing motivation and look at different strategies associated with that. And then finally, in a coaching session, we end up with action. So having the client come up with their action plan that will increase the new behaviors. And I'm going to go in depth into a little bit of what we cover around those 4 A's. So that first one I've mentioned, the alliance, it's about ongoing relationship building. It starts right from that initial discovery session when you first start working together with a coach and a client, and it continues through the entire coaching relationship. We know the coach is not an expert in the client's life. Our philosophy is that the client is creative, resourceful, and possesses many strengths that the coach can get to understand and help the client tap into and revisit. And then the coach maintains a mindful presence and self-management so that their biases aren't intruding into the coaching session. With the agenda phase, so in coaching, the clients pick the agenda, and to some degree, agencies can pick the agenda because if they're paying the bill and they have their stakeholders and their mission, but it's not about the coach's agenda. So in the agenda section, we talk about how goals provide the direction for coaching. It's that long-term vision and then breaking that down into the shorter-term action steps, those chunks that can be really gone in depth during a coaching session. And then those goals also provide the baseline for effectiveness. And when we discuss the agenda phase in our coaching workshops, some of the skills we look at in terms of the coach's facilitation techniques is we explore a bit about the neuroscience and the positive psychology behind coaching. We discuss different types of goals, like learning and approach goals. So the coach has a few different goals they can work with a client. And then even discussing things like goal conflicts that can really get in the way. When we get into the awareness phase in our coaching model, that's the opportunity to really examine the research and the practices around strategies to help increase the client's insight around their goal or problem or an issue. It's a chance to look at increasing motivation and decreasing ambivalence, so really getting that buy-in. And then exploring perspectives, what's gotten in the way or what strengths can the client tap into. And it's that awareness section that provides the foundation for the action steps. And then finally, moving into the action. So this is where the agenda is translated into awareness, and that awareness is where a client designs their own action steps and how they want to be held accountable and what kind of things they need to support their success. And the coach is there to facilitate the process. They can help review resources. They can help review those supports, any kind of financial information or, again, financial resources that the client might need to help support their success. And you can find more information about our A4 Financial Coaching Workshop. We have our website with the link posted on there. We have some financial coaching toolkits, some of the materials we use in our workshop that we practice around in terms of exploring insight and awareness, and some of the assessment tools and just record-keeping tools. You're welcome to go into the toolkit and find that. And then I also have a few demonstration videos that are posted on the website that just give a snapshot of some of the coaching skills and how it might look in our A4 model. So what we do to continue the learning after our workshop is we provide some practice worksheets to kind of set up some structure for coaches to continue to use and practice their coaching skills very intentionally. We're always welcome to field follow-up questions after a workshop if people want to clarify or explore something a little bit more. I'm more than happy to talk with our participants. And then next steps, we've been exploring different technologies where we could do some distance education practice, because we know that's something that is a need just to kind of practice it, to use it or lose it, just being with a group of other coaches to practice some of those different coaching techniques and skills, and being able to discuss some of the issues that might come up when you're in a coaching session. So there's my snapshot of our A4 Financial Coaching Workshop. And again, I can help field any questions after the end of our webinar. But for now, I will be happy to turn it over to Rebecca Wiggins from the AFCP.
Thank you so much, Peggy, and thanks again, Hali and the Center for Financial Security for putting the webinar on today. It's really wonderful to be with you all and to share more about AFCPE, who we are, what we do, and why it matters to the profession. So for those of you who may not be familiar, AFCPE stands for the Association for Financial Counseling and Planning Education. We were founded in 1983 and have become a nationally recognized leader in financial counseling, coaching, and education. One of the things that actually makes us really unique is the depth and diversity of our professionals, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But we bring together research, education, and practice from different areas in the field and support the profession through comprehensive certification, professional development trainings, resources, and that professional network. At the center of everything we do is a laser focus on our mission, and that's to ensure the highest level of knowledge, skill, and integrity of the personal finance profession. We're really proud to have set such rigorous standards rooted in research over 30 years ago, and to foster such a high level of professionalism that exists today. We believe that by setting rigorous standards for financial counseling, coaching, and education, we can create a future where all people, regardless of their income level or background, have access to the same level of professionalism that we expect for people with wealth from our financial planning colleagues. So here's what we do. As a nonprofit organization, we offer two primary services. One is membership and the other is certification. And while they're distinct and separate, a lot of our certified professionals actually are also members, and that's to gain access to things like our research journal, quarterly newsletters, and other membership opportunities like our monthly FPA Connect webinars that's open for AFCPE and FPA members only. So as I mentioned earlier, we convene professionals from different areas of expertise in the field, and that's sort of what this slide demonstrates. You can see the pie and all of the different people that represent those areas in the field. And so that includes military, higher education, credit unions, nonprofit and community-based organizations, and private practice. And again, this diversity of expertise is what makes us so unique. But more importantly, I believe it provides a depth that allows our professionals to share best practices, deepen learning and growth, and build a strong continuum of care. So AFCPE also believes very strongly in the power of partnership. And you'll hear from our partner Sandra Davis in just a few minutes. But these are other highlights of the ways that we've partnered for greater impact. First is the FINRA Foundation Military Spouse Fellowship. This is with funding and partnership from FINRA Investor Education Foundation, where we offer military spouses the ability to earn the AFC. And this is twofold. It provides a meaningful and portable career opportunity for military spouses. It enhances their personal financial security, of course, but it also positively impacts their military communities where they serve. Another area that was really exciting for us was the State Employees Credit Union across the state of North Carolina committed to certifying more than 1,000 employees to raise their level of professionalism and enhance the quality of service that they're providing to their members. And we also have a Building the Bridge model, which is a statewide investor education community event where we bring together local resources, professionals, and organizations to, again, strengthen that continuum of care and improve financial well-being. And then the CFPB National Financial Coaching Initiative. This requires both the AFC and the FFC, which is the Financial Fitness Coach certification, for 60 financial coaches to serve across the country to work with veterans and economically vulnerable populations. The project really demonstrates, again, that value of partnership, but even more importantly, I believe it demonstrates the integration of skills that are really necessary to ensure that the professionals achieve mastery over model, and because of that, they can most effectively meet clients where they are in their financial lives. So a little bit more about our certification. The two main programs that we offer are the AFC and the FFC program. And the FFC program is in partnership with Sage Financial Solutions, and Sandra will share more about that program here in just a few minutes. Another program that we're offering is a new professional development program. This will be in early 2018. Called Money Management Essentials. It's not a certification, but it offers a really good entry point for individuals to build that foundation of financial knowledge and can be used then as a stepping stone to a certification like the AFC or FFC. The content covers the full financial life cycle of an individual from money management, credit, student loans, debt reduction, et cetera, all the way to things like housing, insurance, and risk management. So it covers the breadth of the AFC program, but is more of an entry-level point to get into the field or to enhance your knowledge. So we're excited to announce that new program that will be coming up in early 2018. So a little more about the AFC program. At the core of all of our programs is the commitment to the 4 E's: education, exam, experience, and ethics. So candidates must pass a comprehensive exam. They have to verify 1,000 hours in the field, submit letters of recommendation, and commit to a code of ethics and ongoing professional development. And we really are very committed to that component in particular. We provide as an organization that regulatory oversight and disciplinary process to ensure that our professionals are adhering to that highest standards of excellence. And we also are excited that the AFC has recently, at the end of 2015, earned accreditation by NCCA. This enhances the value and sets that mark apart from others, and we actually join our CFP colleagues with this level of achievement and recognition for the program. And so there's a few ways that you can earn the AFC. Candidates can actually go through the self-study program to complete education requirements, or if you hold an approved designation like the CFP or a degree that meets competencies, you can go through a challenge pathway. And then we also have approved programs in 18 of the top personal financial planning programs across the country and a distance learning program through Texas Tech. So there's a lot of different ways that you can go through to earn the AFC. Convening and strengthening that continuum of care is extremely important to us. You've heard me mention it multiple times already. We really believe that the people we serve should have access to a more integrated and comprehensive system of support throughout their entire financial life. And that needs to be rooted in a shared commitment to the highest standards and a comprehensive financial foundation of knowledge. So if you're interested in exploring more about the continuum of care and how we can continue to build this together, AFCPE is actually hosting a webinar next month to discuss this very topic. So mark your calendars now for September 27th. More information can be found on AFCPE's website, and you can register there. AFCPE members from across the continuum will discuss different areas of the financial care, where they start and stop, what happens when the lines are blurred, what this means for ethics, and the importance of the highest standards across the profession. And then, of course, we also have our annual research and training symposium coming up in San Diego, and that's November 15th through the 17th. This brings together around 600 financial professionals from across the country, again, who work in a variety of sectors, so research, education, and practice. And this year our theme is Bridging the Gap. We have exciting sessions and keynote speakers, including Tom Shapiro and Deidre Asante Mohammed from Prosperity Now, who will kick off the program with a panel discussion on the racial and gender wealth gap. Another one of our presenters is Alan Moore from XY Planning, and he'll speak actually about this idea of bridging the gap between financial counseling, coaching, and planning. And so that's just to name a few, and we'd love to see you all there as well. So don't hesitate to reach out if you have any questions. You can find out more information about, I think, everything that I've spoken about on our website, afcpe.org, and I look forward to your questions at the end as well. And right now, I have the honor of passing to our partner in financial coaching, Sandra Davis from Sage Financial Solutions.
Thank you, Rebecca. Thank you so much. It's really exciting to be here. This webinar for me demonstrates kind of what I really wanted to see happen when I joined this profession back in 2004. Thank you, Hali, and to the Financial Clinic for having this idea. I think this is brilliant. And to my colleagues in the field, we are making the world a better place with the work that we do. I'm really just going to be really brief because Rebecca and both Peggy and Rebecca have talked a lot about what financial coaching is and how we see it. I'm going to talk specifically about the financial fitness coach designation, but I kind of want to start with why I did this. I spent more than 30 years in the nonprofit sector before becoming a financial planner, and I made every financial mistake possible, before I got my master's degree in financial planning on my own. I was really fortunate when I joined the field to learn from leaders in the behavioral and emotional personal finance and behavioral economics overall, Drs. Klontz, Ted and Brad, George Kinder with the 7 stages of money maturity, and I really had an opportunity to understand it's seldom about the dollars. Now back then, picture, those of you who were around in 2004 in this work, think back to what was going on. We had IDA programs, we had budget counselors, we had debt counselors, we had housing counselors, we had all of that going on, and as we led up to 2008, no one was really looking at a comprehensive approach to the financial life of people who had less wealth. We were helping people get into houses with adjustable rate mortgages. We were giving people Money Smart on Wednesday and having them teach a class on Saturday. You didn't have to have any real expertise. You didn't really even have to understand financial topics at all to be standing in front of the room teaching. So I found this distressing, and that's one of the things that caused me to begin to work with EARN. At the time, they were doing individual development account programs, and I was a volunteer. So I started in this path in 2005 with EARN as a volunteer, and my commitment then, as it is now, was to the highest quality of comprehensive financial planning services, whatever that means, right, for clients who have less. You know, I was in a world where people were working with high net worth clients, and they just pull out all the stops to do whatever they needed to do, concierge financial planning, all of these wonderful things to help people live well with their money. And that just frankly was not happening. And community-based organizations, social services organizations were working their chops off to try to help people, poor people, and low-income folks live a better life, yet without the expertise or, frankly, even the support. There are a lot of organizations that are doing great work then. Those organizations are still doing great work today. You know, we have one of them on the call today with Neighborworks, but it just wasn't enough. You know, we were still seeing people suffering. We still saw 2008 gut communities. I mean, we saw people in the field who had never been poor before coming to our door. So for me, it was kind of this culmination of understanding that knowing better, financial education, does not always equal doing better. And so I was fortunate back in 2005 and 2006 to understand what coaching was about because of some colleagues in the field. And so I went down that route. I was lucky. You know, I didn't have to unlearn a lot of the habits that, many of my colleagues in the financial planning world were expecting that if you tell a client what to do, they will do it. Financial counselors who think that, if you just give them the right budget, if they would just do what we say. I was fortunate that I understood that, and this is quite frankly just from being around colleagues who were working with folks who had lots of money, that knowing better does not mean doing better. And so I set down this road. I had my partnership with EARN in 2005. We built the Wealth Care Financial Coaching Program in 2006, and it was a wonderful adventure. EARN has since gone high tech. I, of course, have stayed high touch, and that's how I've ended up where I am today. I'm a financial behavior specialist through Creighton University. That's part of the CLONTS program. We develop and provide technical assistance program and implementation for coaching programs around the country. I teach at the college level. I teach at Golden Gate University. I teach coaching there as well as for people who are becoming CFPs. So I still, I kind of still stretch across this continuum, and I'm one of the past presidents and founding members of the Financial Therapy Association. So I say that to say my commitment to the continuum is that all of us, every single one of us, panelists and participants, we will decide what makes up the continuum of care for financial services in this country. And I'm urging us all to do our very best to make sure that we bring the best. I had the good fortune to meet the AFCPE in 2001, and we decided to join forces. At that time, I was teaching coaching skills and having to teach financial content on my own. It was just a bit much. And so we began our collaboration in 2013, and the idea was there to just bring excellence in financial expertise, and what that did was allowed me to focus on coaching skills. So the wonderful thing about this field is that you really get to choose how you do it. So whether you're on this call as a CFP who's deciding to bring in coaching skills, a counselor who really wants to understand what this coaching thing is all about and how it differs from the amazing work you're already doing, or you've already been to one of our programs, the key here is who are you going to be as a coach? And then how do you put what you want to be and who you want to be in this field, how do you put what you need into yourself to build the pathway that you desire? So whether you're doing one-on-one as your own private practice or working in partnership at an organization, you really get to decide how you do it. So I'm going to briefly say our perspective is that coaching builds on a strong foundation of financial knowledge. If you are only an expert at budgeting, you can certainly be a budget coach, but be really clear about what you can offer. I am not of the belief that you do not have to be an expert. I know Peggy knows this. We have both been to some of the same coaching programs. There was a time where we used to say, oh, well, the coach doesn't have to be the expert to be able to be a good financial coach. I absolutely disagree with that. You can certainly be a life coach without having any specific expertise. That's absolutely true. But when it comes to financial topics, being someone who understands every aspect of what a client can get themselves into in their financial lives, I believe is crucial. We can actually do harm, and I believe that our role as the coach is to first do no harm. You know, if you can't do good, at least make sure that you do no harm, and I believe that we're more inclined to be able to do that if we understand financial content and we have a deep knowledge and clear practice of how we teach financial education as we become experts in counseling and coaching. The client and the coach co-create that relationship. The client is, of course, driving the process, and the coach is the partner as they do, as Peggy mentioned, you know, create not only the goals, but what do they want accountability to look like, you know. So there are many ways that we hear these conversations that give the impression that the coach is somehow leading that process. The coach holds the process. The client drives the process. And so one of the things that we really do is how do we help people figure out what a successful financial life means to them? What does it mean to set your sights on something that matters to you and to understand what's important to you about it, and then align your behavior, your resources, your energy, everything you have in the direction of that space? And the coach provides that accountability, and the coach is equally accountable to the client. So our goal in the training is to really have a very rigorous introduction to skills. The reason that I believe this rigor is necessary is that, you know, I've been around the profession long enough to see where, you know, we might go to a class, we get some information, and we go back, and maybe the organization that we work with isn't really kind of bought in to the whole coaching idea, and so we end up doing the same stuff. You know, our intention might be great, but we're not really bringing it the way that we want to, or the way that we thought we would when we were in the training. So we really have each person in the program figure out, when you have this as the coach, when you are doing this exactly as you want to, when you're serving your clients exactly the way you want to be serving them, what are you doing? What part of you are you bringing? And so we do that in the very first session, and then we dig deeper with the ongoing learning labs. We, of course, have practice requirements post-training, and then you have to demonstrate your skills. In order to complete the certification, there's examination and then continuing education, not only the requirement for it, but the support. We've recently adjusted our program a bit to allow people to enter at different stages. We have the Coaching Essentials, which is the first module, and that is a 2-day, 12-hour, and the reason that it's 12 hours, I only believe in people working 6 hours a day, and so we honor that and model that. Now, what that means is that there's homework, right? So there's homework in between, and so that program is either live or web-based, and to be perfectly frank, I was not always convinced that web-based coach training could be magnificent, but it actually can, and it's based on the people, how they show up in the room. And I have to say, every class we've done, we're 12 cohorts in right now, and every group that is on that web class, they're amazing. They interact with each other. It's just a fantastic thing to see. And then you go into the coaching applications where you're deepening the learning. These are 10 online learning labs with office hours where you talk to me and a team of our coaches who have been doing this for a really long time and help you deal with like specific situations that are going on in your life as a coach and in your work with your clients. And then finally, there's the focus on mastery. We do not teach a model. Our goal is to teach mastery of coaching skills, and then you use whatever model appeals to you and what is best for your clients. So we have 4 paths to certification, and I'll go through each one of those. The first one is a fresh start. You're a newbie right out of the gate. This whole coaching thing is maybe new to you, and you want to start from beginning and go all the way to certification. Now, for this, you'll see that acronym there. It's not a designation. That is the Money Management Essentials that Rebecca spoke of, and that's to make sure that your financial content is tight. You know what you're talking about. You know what matters most with the client in the context of their financial goals, and you're able to address those. So then that gives us the room to truly focus on your coaching skills while we're together. So financial professionals, you might already be an expert, and you just want to integrate coaching skills. I've been in the field of it, like I mentioned, and some of the clients of the CFPs that I know have talked about clients being non-compliant. Sometimes, client communication, how we work with clients makes all the difference in whether or not your amazing financial plan actually gets implemented. So that's the goal there. And then you can go on to certification as well. So if you are a financial planner, you might decide, I want to do module 1 and 2, but I don't need another certification. That's a personal decision you get to choose. Coaching professionals, if you already have a coaching certification from approved programs and you want the financial focus and you might not have the financial expertise, we require the money management essentials, as I mentioned earlier. And then you do the learning labs. You do that digging deeper into what you've already learned. It does, of course, similar to what Rebecca mentioned, it is a challenge opportunity, and people can do that as an individual or coming from other programs as well. And our goal here was to make certification accessible to people who maybe have already started down this road. I don't know about you, but I've taken like 4 or 5 different coach training programs over the last 13 years. And so, you just want to decide how do you build the skills that you need. And you might find that you've already got some stuff and you just want to build on that. And so we want to make that accessible for you as well. And then the Head Start, this is our final one. That's if you already have financial content and a coaching certification. And now you just want to put the two of those together. We find a lot of this with people who maybe have already, been doing some work in the field and just really want to make sure that they have that certification from an organization that has a well-established reputation in the field. And AFCPE, as Rebecca has mentioned, has been around for a long time, which is why we partnered with them. The couple things that I want to say is that the main thing that we are looking for here is to support organizations and individuals in providing the highest quality and consistent financial content across the board. We do believe that irrespective of someone's financial circumstance, we all need comprehensive financial planning. We all need access to reputable, ethical, competent services. And so that's our goal. The next time that we're all going to get together in person is, as you probably guessed it, at the AFCPE Symposium that Rebecca mentioned in sunny San Diego, November 13th and the 14th. You can find out anything else that you want to know about what we're doing at the AFCPE website. We're really excited about rolling this program out in the modular way. We've not done that before, so we're really excited about that, and we invite you to join us. We will be taking questions at the end. You can go to our website and see my slamming haircut there, and then you can also see more about our programs. I am really excited now to turn this over to Peggy Garcia Marquez over at CNM. Thanks so much for listening. We're happy to talk with you guys.
Thank you, Sandra, and also thank you, Rebecca and Peggy. I really enjoyed listening to an overview of your programs, and especially as a part of a family that has a long, proud military service history, I thank you for your work in that area. And so I am from Central New Mexico Community College, and I'm going to provide a high-level overview of our Financial Capability Coach certification course. Our philosophy here is that we teach a transformational coach approach, and that creates the environment which fosters the long-lasting behavioral change, not only in the people we work with, but in us as coaches. And so a brief history about Central New Mexico Community College. It is the largest higher education institution in New Mexico, and we have just under 30,000 students. So about 15 years ago, CNM created an employee class of achievement coaches that combined, initially it was academic advisors with life coaching skills and strategies, and the results with students were really phenomenal. So the newly hired achievement coaches went to a national training for life coaches, and it was good. It was really expensive, and much of it was dedicated to building a business coaching executive. And when the achievement coaches came back and sat down with students, they found out that 78% of the students wanted to talk about money. So we had to take a step back and really figure out about how we wanted to train internally. And we partnered with credentialed coaches, certified financial planners, and professionals who work in nonprofit organizations with people experiencing poverty. And of course, with our instructional designers, we came up with this internal training. In 2005, we established a Center for Working Families model with Annie E. Casey Foundation, and we had one part-time financial coach. By 2011, the whole financial coaching and achievement coaching model was institutionalized. So our CNM Connect motto is no wrong door. So it's a one-stop hub in student services using holistic coaching services. And we attempt to look at the student as a whole person and eliminate the silos in between partners and the runaround for students as they're trying to navigate the system. So our academic coaches, which we now have about 35 full-time academic achievement and career coaches, and we have programs that have financial education and coaching. We do IDAs, public benefit screening, scholarship assistance. We have a food and toiletries pantry, tax filing, emergency scholarships, legal assistance, and referrals to services in the community for childcare, housing, and transportation. Our model has garnered many awards. For the past few years, we have always been in the top 5 degree producers in the nation overall, and in particular for students of color, which we are really proud of. And in 2013, we were awarded the American Association of Community College Student Success Award. Our model has been emulated at other community colleges and universities around the country, and that is how our whole training program grew organically out of this, out of us trying it in our college, looking at the student holistically, and really thinking about their finances, because financial concerns are the number one reason that students do not persist in college. And we have not done this alone. We have already trained over 5,500 people in 38 states, and we have enjoyed the partnership and the support of many national organizations. So our philosophy of coaching is that we just don't teach skills, because coaching is not simply about skills. It's not an add-on service or another responsibility. We believe it is a transformational paradigm shift in the way that we work with all people. So it is about implementing a coach approach in all aspects of the service delivery model. And we teach about the coaching relationship in these 3 focus areas, which is coaching principles, financial skills, and cultural humility. And so our training team consists of a coach educator and a financial educator. And on our whole team, we have 6 board-certified coaches, 4 ICF coaches, 3 certified financial planners, 3 with advanced degrees in instructional design, and 6 with expertise and experience in leading a nonprofit organization. And all of the exercise in our highly experiential training are designed to help evoke the transformation and the behavioral change in the coach's service delivery model from a case management or advising perspective to coaching. And we believe that is what then fosters the change of behavior in the people that we work with. So we do use this coach model. However, we believe that coaching is not so much a methodology as it is a relationship. So the coaching conversation is not necessarily a series of steps, but it is an intentional conversation. And the model represents some important qualities that are present. So it is strengths-based, future-focused, based on potential, and designed to create commitments that support the person wishing to make the changes. We believe that, and a great deal of research coming out of the Center for Financial Security and many other fields can attest, that the coaches should be experts in the coaching process and that effective coaching can occur in any context. The goal is to coach the whole person, not to solve their problems for them. And in our training, we also provide a specific coaching toolkit and specific program implementation strategies. So the financial skills that we teach were informed by the financial coaching census, and we value authenticity in our training, so there's no pretending or role-playing. Our trainees will practice authentic coaching on their actual goals from day one, so practice coaching and be coached on our actual goals. And part of this is also helping people implement the learning. So we, for example, we talk about strategies to help people recover from payday loans. So not only learning about credit and debt, but also about helping people repair and recover. So our underlying Cornerstone philosophy is that all people are naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. So we believe that all people are capable of learning, of making their own choices, of making change, and recalculating when their plan goes awry. So in our training, we help future coaches truly search their own beliefs in order to create their own understanding of naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. So you may have heard me say this at the last webinar, but I think it bears repeating. At a training recently in Texas, there was a trainee who worked with formerly incarcerated people. And there were some people who had been convicted of some pretty horrible crimes. But this future coach said that right before she sat down with each person, she said to herself, this person has sacred worth. Sacred worth. So their worth has nothing to do, not tied to their past actions or their past or current circumstances. Their worth has nothing to do with the coach's judgment or biases. They have worth simply because they are human. And so this lesson really stuck with me in thinking about naturally created, resourceful, and whole, that each person has sacred worth and is capable. And so we spend a lot of time talking about these things, about how we need to be aware of our own biases and values in order to recognize when our own judgments can interfere with that relationship. And so we have a new updated curriculum for 2017. And the CNM Financial Capability Coach, it's a certification course of 60 hours. Part 1 is 20 in the classroom and 10 intentional field work. And then Part 2, a month later, is 20 classroom hours and 10 of field work. We also do customized training and short basic trainings. And we are proud to announce that in 2018, we are launching a certification program. So Central New Mexico Community College is a fully accredited higher ed organization that by the Higher Education Commission, and that is the backbone organization. And the certification pathway is that first the person completes rigorous training based on core competencies. This does not have to be CNM's training. This can be other approved training providers. And anyone who has had CNM training in the past will have the opportunity to take a hybrid or online refresher course that's going to be super inexpensive to help them prepare for this certification. Another thing that I wanted to point out is that we are not requiring a traditional education background. As I have traveled the country, I have seen some amazing coach programs in which the clients or the families themselves have risen and become coaches and now work at the nonprofit organizations and are doing an amazing job. And so we want to be inclusive in that way. There will be a comprehensive standardized exam. We're working with Pearson Testing to have that available across the country. And the assessment will be a combination of general cognitive knowledge about coaching theory and principles. It will also have short videos of coaching sessions that the future coach will critique And then the applicant will also be required to submit recordings of their coaching sessions, which can be simply recorded using a smartphone. There will be some documented post-training coaching experience required and a professional reference and endorsement. I am not giving you the actual amount of hours because I am working with an advisory board made up of various people on the national scene that is helping me set all those right now, and so this will be launching next summer. What we are doing right now is that we are answering the nation's call to create a training program that is reputable, scalable, and sustainable. So over and over I've been hearing from organizations that they are seeking local trainers. They want ongoing training and support. They want to build capacity in their organizations. They want to have trainers available from all steps, from the training to the implementation in their organizations. And so we will be licensing our curriculum in certified training programs. So it will be the organization that will license the curriculum, not individuals, because we've also heard from nonprofit organizations that turnover can be high. And so if someone in the organization is a trainer and they choose to leave the organization can continue and have someone else certified to train with us. The other thing is that the organizations will have the opportunity to license the curriculum for less than our current cost of one training, because obviously we won't have our trainers traveling across the country to do that, and travel will not be required of your trainers. Each program can have 4 trainers certified, and actually the organizations who license the curriculum will be able to facilitate training for other organizations. We're currently working with 4 organizations and networks, and one of them is actually planning on using this as a social enterprise or a revenue stream for their organization. And CNM is providing the curriculum, the facilitator guide, all the training materials. We'll do in-person facilitation, skills training, adult learning theory, and provide technical assistance at the first training session, and provide ongoing professional development and quarterly webinars. These programs will also be able to use our student management system and, of course, the testing services. And once the curriculum is licensed and all the trainers are certified, then the organization will only be required to purchase the manuals, the trainee manuals from CNM, and so they can keep, those will be continually updated. And right now we do have an upcoming certification course in Albuquerque in September and October, and registration is open for that now. And contact me for more information. Thank you so much to the Center for Financial Security and Hali for allowing me to participate in this webinar. And now I would like to turn over to Jana Bauer.
Thank you, Peggy. And again, thank you, Hali and the Center for Financial Security for hosting us today. I certainly have really appreciated hearing each of the other presentations about the training programs available in the financial capability and financial coaching space. I wanted to take a minute this afternoon to share with you a little bit about Neighborworks America's financial capability and training certification, and give you just a little bit of a background about Neighborworks America. Neighborworks America is a 40-year-old organization. We're a national nonprofit based on a public-private partnership model. And our overall mission within our corporation and organization is to create opportunities for people to live in affordable homes, improve their lives, and strengthen their communities. And we have a guiding principle, what we call our North Star, that every community is a place of opportunity. And we know that that begins at home, and we know that begins within kind of the financial security for each individual. So
So let me tell you a little bit about Neighborworks training. Our training, and through our training institute, is 30 years, has been providing services for over 30 years. And our work in the financial capability space began really in the 1990s through our network of extensive network of organizations. We have over 250 Neighborworks organizations around the country, providing just a whole host of services within each of their individual communities, and many of them adopted some programming around financial fitness to really help serve the customers that they were working with. And we learned from that effort and revitalized that later in the 2000s. I would say this work also really was sparked by the housing crisis that began in 2008, and Sandra referenced some information about that. Really identifying the need to better prepare people for homeownership and to serve those who are not ready for homeownership or who may elect to really continue to be renters as their primary source of housing. And we saw an opportunity to serve a broader audience of practitioners, which matched the work that was going on in the community development field. Many organizations are serving in a variety of sectors: housing, social service, human service, workforce, veterans, and seniors. I would say that the impetus, though, for this really helped spark our certification plan came as a result of a partnership opportunity through the City Foundation in 2011, who invested in a 2.5-year pilot project that allowed us to really study various models of local organizations and the work that they were doing. Nearly all of the organizations were providing services to those with limited income. And the goal here was to really provide similar services and give equal opportunity and an equity playing field to those with limited resources to be able to receive the same types of services as those with greater resources. And so we embarked upon that effort, and we learned lots from it, and I'll share with you later some resources that you can look for on our website that might be of interest to you. I might also share that Neighborworks America provides training in a variety of topics spanning from nonprofit management and leadership, asset management, community engagement, housing, education, and counseling, and now financial capability. We do this through training institutes, which are mobile universities that we offer 3 times a year in local markets. They attract nationwide audience, up to about 2,000 participants. Or we have the ability to bring any of our courses to you through what we call place-based training. We offer an extensive course catalog of in-person training. We also offer a growing catalog of online formats. We currently have 3 different online formats, and again, I'll ask you to refer to our website later in the presentation. So let me just talk a little bit about our approach to financial capability training. We really approach it as an immersive training experience that prepares individuals to become professionals in the area of financial education and counseling, financial coaching, and then at the management level, developing and managing a successful financial capability program. Our coursework that for the in-person courses vary. Depending on the topic, they are in a format of 1, 2, 3, or 5 days at a setting. Each day is a 6-hour day. We believe the same as Sandra, and so we offer you a 6-hour format for each of those days of training. We offer fundamental, intermediate, and advanced level training. We're constantly updating our curriculum as well as adding new coursework to match the market needs. And you'll see that we provide a cadre of learning that is focused on the individual practitioner, as well as coursework that helps the management and leadership teams as they look at designing and implementing a program within their marketplace. Our training is focused on financial content. So we agree that there are many aspects to financial content. We have some core basic courses, but we also have very specialized courses that I'll share in a moment. We believe in really trying to build the skills and approaches to working with customers to successfully solve the financial problems and to achieve financial goals. We, in our training, provide a variety of tools and templates to manage workflow, the program design, and maximizing the customer engagement. And then we help create a supportive environment where practitioners can learn from each other in a peer-to-peer way and apply and test those new skills and tools with instructor feedback. Each of our courses help build content learned in a previous course. So again, we work kind of in that ladder of fundamental, intermediate, and advanced level work. Our financial capabilities certification course is a 60-hour course. It includes 3 different courses, and they are listed for you on the screen. The first course is around some real fundamentals around the financial content, spanning everything from understanding how bank accounts work, how certain credit products work, what the details are of opportunities or dealing with payday lenders, what's available within a marketplace, and how you might determine based on those very specific needs. And then all the way to credit and other matters such as insurance. We also then offer a course that's very focused on financial education. Many organizations provide general services and then build upon that to provide very specific coaching services. And I would share that we have found many of the attendees of our training may come from a housing background, but we see a growing number of individuals from other community-based services, employers, colleges. We see a number of human services, and where the focus of the work in financial capability helps those who have been focused on housing, but also is very informative to those who have other primary sources of career. And then the third course that's the third course that's required for certification is our financial coaching, helping clients reach their goals. So it's a pretty easy process. You complete the 3 core courses, you take a final exam, and you apply for certification. In addition to the certification courses, we have a number of other courses that help continue to build the knowledge, skill, and practice. So in the space of financial coaching, to truly master the coaching skills, we believe it takes learning, practice, and feedback. And so our current courses currently offer an opportunity or solid grounding in the coaching skills. That's what you get with the financial coaching, helping clients reach their goals. It is very immersive. It is real life, so we do have practice within the course that are based on each of the individual's real life goals. And they can follow that up with the second level of financial coaching, advanced practicum, taking your coaching to the next level, whereby they can come back together, continue to practice in their coaching skills, and discuss challenges that they may have encountered and challenges that they'd like to address as they continue on their continuum and journey in being a financial coach. Within our financial coaching courses, similar to others, we follow the coach framework, and we look at a variety of really trying to immerse the coaching model versus a counseling or an instructive model. But the value that we have found with this particular approach and the work that we're doing is many of our audience have occasion where they are asked to serve in a counseling role, and then they're able to pivot to a coaching role. We've seen organizations who may not take on a full program, but have been able to utilize the principles and skills learned in the training to apply to a variety of programming within their organization. This might include a rental counseling program or a program designed to help renters of a low-income multifamily project. It may also include organizations who implemented this work when they're working with clients who were facing foreclosure. And so it really has helped them pivot their thinking and their approach to help not only themselves as a practitioner, but to help gain that behavior change. Other things that we talk about very specifically within the coaching courses are these particular topics, which include asking powerful questions, active and reflective listening, self-managing, etc. We believe that it's really important that the core skills of financial coaches work on first that financial knowledge. They need to have that skill set so that they can impart that and help facilitate that with their customers. They need to have a philosophy of helping their customers realize and define the financial goals, helping them with the action, and to really understand their the marketplace with which they are dealing. So many times we talk about a customer-centric coaching alliance, and this is an example of where we really try to not only make it customer-centric, but we want to focus in our training on the coach themselves and how they are interacting and making those choices and that activity with their customers. It really is an opportunity to think about values, the client values, and the biases that the coaches may bring to the table. So we within our training, provide a significant amount of practice to help raise awareness in these areas. In addition to the core training that we provide, as the 3 courses that are required for certification, we recognize that each practitioner may have different needs as it relates to topics or understanding in certain areas, and we have a number of courses that have been designed to help fill that gap and build the knowledge of the individual. Here are a few examples. We have a credit counseling for maximum results, which is really a 3-day deep dive on every aspect of credit. How do you help an individual think about the steps that they need to take? What are the impacts of credit scoring? How might you help the customer think about rebuilding their credit? And so it's a very, very immersive course. One other area that we have been asked to make training available has to do with student loan counseling. Many of our organizations and others are seeking or seeing opportunities to work with individuals, whether they're getting ready to take out a student loan or they've already taken out a student loan. And it's a very detailed financial process. And so we've created some training specific to that to help both the counselor and the coach understand all of the details of this very technical topic. And I share with you that coming this fall, we'll also have a new online course that will be a predecessor to the HO 255 course, which will be about student loan basics. And that online course will just help provide some definitions and framework before this deeper dive into the in-person course. We also have a course on engaging older adults in financial capability programs because we recognize that some practitioners and coaches are working with this market population. We also have an opportunity to provide some training that is very specific to managers and leaders. And so we encourage managers and leaders to also take our financial coaching course so that they understand what the coaches have learned, what the opportunities are, how they can then put that into practice within their own organization. But we've designed a course specifically, HO 375, Financial Capability Program designed for managers, where we take really a deep dive on how we think about designing and implementing a standalone program around financial capability. education plus coaching to equal behavior change. In this, we help teach that culture of coaching so that organizations can understand the differences based on service delivery that they've been providing to date. We also have a course in our management and leadership track on coaching for transformation. This really talks about coaching skills in general, not necessarily from the financial perspective. And then one other course that we offer is a virtual classroom course, Measuring the Impact for Financial Capability Programs. That number is HO212VC. It's a critical component in designing and supporting a successful financial capability program is evaluation. And so in this virtual classroom course across multiple weeks, it identifies key data elements and approaches to collecting and evaluating client data and data from your program. Within the program design, we really focus on the program design course. We really focus on how organizations can prepare to integrate their program, how they can help motivate their staff, how they'll be able to absorb all of the information, and then how they can take action as depicted here on this wheel. And here's one other example of how we help managers and leaders think about knowing their target audience for the program that they're going to design. And so we walk them through a series of steps and considerations, as well as looking at implications from a funding and budget perspective. Overall, our coaching, our training approach is really very coaching-centric. Each of the courses are centered on a foundational approach that seeks to uncover and understand the client needs in order to best align the service delivery. Overall, our key is to maintain a client focus with a holistic context. And I'll share with you that over the 85 or nearly 100 courses that fall under the Neighborworks Center for Homeownership Education and Counseling outside of financial capability, we've really taken on this approach. We are talking more and more and more about coaching and the culture of coaching in all of the work and all of the subject matter that is being taught, because it's such an important step of working with our customers. And one other thing I wanted to share is that our training is really grounded in standards. So there is a draft of, and standards are really important, and there are a number of them available within the marketplace, and I think it just helps us all realize the level of professionalism that is intended with this work. It helps provide some guiding principles. So the National Industry Standards for Homeownership Education and Counseling, which includes homeownership, preparation and preservation, and foreclosure intervention. The National Industry Standards Committee, which is comprised of a number of stakeholders within the marketplace, have put together a set of draft standards that will just again provide a common roadmap for excellence in service delivery. I'm sure that if we align these with other standards in the marketplace, they would be very complementary in their focus on the work. The purpose of them is to provide guidance in financial capability program design and to help strengthen existing programs and develop entirely new financial capability services. These standards will help delineate between financial counseling and coaching and group education in an effort to help individual agencies tailor their service delivery to the unique circumstances of the clients in their communities. These are being considered by the National Industry Standard Committee. They've been out for comment a couple of times. I know a number of folks on this call have also provided some comment. And we look forward to those being introduced into the marketplace to help complement what might already be available. So earlier I mentioned specifically about our financial capability certification. NCHEC offers 6 individual professional certifications as well as others across our training division. And so I would call your attention to our website where you can look to find out more about the financial capability certification. You'll also be able to find a number of resources available in the market, including some briefs from that pilot program that we did and the final report. And you'll be able to find out more about the success measures, financial capability evaluation components, and the various indicators that are currently available. And so if you need any further information, here's my contact information. And with that, Hali, I'll send it back to you to wrap us up and to facilitate questions.
Great. Thank you so much to all of the presenters. I'm going to jump right into questions because we do have a few that have come in, and so I'm going to pose the first question to Jana, and then I want to open it up for others to comment as well. So Jana, you mentioned that you have the course for developing and managing financial capability programs aimed at program management or leadership. And so based on the financial coaching census and other conversations that we've been having in the field recently, we know that client retention, outreach, marketing, that is one area that a lot of programs struggle with, a lot of practitioners struggle with. So does this particular training touch on that topic? And then if anybody else wants to jump in after Jana finishes, we would love to hear that as well.
Thanks, Hali. So yes, and we would concur in the work that we've been doing within our own organizations and some of our pilot work. We are focused in two areas. So the course itself, the program design course, does in fact talk about target audience, marketing, and outreach and retention strategies. We also touch on that course, or on that topic, in our financial education course, which for many organizations is kind of that entree into some of your services. In addition to that, we have a pilot underway right now with a select number of our Neighborworks organizations who are focused on field testing a number of strategies. We use them many times as a laboratory for us because from those strategies we're then able to take the successes and translate them into other trainings and try to replicate them and scale them.
Anyone else have anything to add regarding your program?
Hey, Hali, this is Sandra. So this
Wonderful.
is one of the benefits, this is one of the benefits of actually still being a practitioner in the program building as well. We hear a lot of the same thing, and I'll share with the group what Ted Klontz, who is a real expert in this field, shared with us several years ago. When we find that we are having concerns or issues with retention, it's up to us to check our technique. Often we're finding what we think we are doing with clients is not having the impact that we think we're having. And so one of the things that we think is really important in how we build our program and then how we deliver not only the training but the program design and support that we give with organizations is that are we doing what we think we're doing, and how do we know? What are we basing our effectiveness on? Are we checking the box that the client pulled the credit report, or do we really understand what's important with that person? Are we able to go deep? And are our coaches able to go deep and not take over the client's goal or turn a goal into a task? And so the first thing that I will say is that when we're talking about client retention, we have to first look at, do we really understand what client readiness is all about? Do we really understand where that client is? And so I would say the focus has to be from the ground up. And like, Neighborworks, of course, I've trained a Neighborworks program, and I agree with Jana that we really have to look at when we're building the program, is what we're building conducive to client retention? And if not, we have to look at ourselves first. And I think what we do as a field is we often say, oh, well, if the client only. And I would say that we have to make sure that we're delivering what we think we're delivering, that our program is conducive to a coaching model, if that's what we call what we're doing. Because if we say, yes, this is all about you, but then we give them a laundry list of things that they must do in order to engage with us, we can't be surprised when they say, this isn't really what we thought, or this isn't going the way that I needed it to. So I think we have to check ourselves first, and then make sure that everything that we do from beginning to end stays client-focused and that the client is in control.
Thank you so much. That was really helpful, Sandra and Jana both. I have a question that I'm going to send in the direction of Rebecca, actually. I'm going to kind of combine a couple of questions that have come in, actually. So the first question was, please clarify the difference between financial coaching and financial planning or financial counseling. And then I'm going to also add on to that question, because Rebecca, you've had, you work in an organization that's had such experience in financial counseling, financial education, financial planning. How has the introduction of financial coaching to your curriculum kind of changed the approach or evolved for AFCPE?
Yeah, those are great questions. Thank you. So the first thing I would say, and Sandra can certainly jump in as well on this, because our program is really integrated, and that's sort of what makes our program so unique, actually. The belief that we hold is that financial counseling provides really that education and guidance to the clients. And so it's really about helping the individuals. It's still client-led and still, understanding what the client is bringing forward and what their needs are, but understanding how the counselor can work with them through a financial crisis oftentimes, and then helping them navigate those issues, through the counseling and the guidance. So it's a little bit more focused on financial education. Financial coaching is a technique that our counselors can certainly be trained in, but it obviously is focused much more in that co-creation of the engagement. And so financial coaches are viewing the client as the expert in their own life and making sure that they're tying what their goals are, their financial goals, to their life goals, and helping that client, in some ways achieve greater behavioral change, because they're really a key component and the leading driver in the change that they're making around those issues. And so that's, there are some, and that's what I would encourage everybody to come to the Continuum of Care webinar, because it's something that we're still trying to build and make sure that there's more integration across the field, and then understanding where those lines are blurred and how can the coaching technique actually help us become better counselors, and vice versa, making sure that you have the really solid foundational knowledge that the ASC brings to it, so that as a financial coach, then you have really solid expertise and can really, use the coaching technique to move the client towards that behavior change.
Great. Thank you so much, Rebecca. Very well put. I'm going to send this question to Peggy Olive, first of all, but then I would love for Peggy Garcia Marquez to also answer, just because I know that, well, our whole group here has such a familiarity with many different programs that we've talked today, and much experience in, attending all these various programs. Sandra mentioned she has attended, lots of training programs over the years as well. How can these, well, if a person is so lucky that they have that they are able to attend multiple trainings from various organizations that we have on our presentation today, or even other ones that we weren't able to have present on this webinar, how can these various models fit together? How can we all work together in terms of, attending various trainings and incorporating them into how a practitioner uses the different models in their everyday work with clients?
Sure, and this is Peggy Olive. I can certainly kick off that conversation. And honestly, that question gets to the heart of the intention for this webinar, to bring together the various coaching trainings and programs so that learners can start thinking about what their own needs might be. You've seen the range of some programs offering some of the financial basics or avenues to do more of the financial education versus our program is focusing on coaching skills, coaching model, coaching presence. I think the idea is that getting some of those core coaching skills, having being grounded in a coaching philosophy, and then also having that that financial background if you were going to be doing financial coaching. I think it's really up to the learner to determine, what part of those components do they need to strengthen, do they want to focus on. And I'd like to highlight the Central New Mexico model that will be coming up in the next year that will provide an avenue for people to kind of mix and match what they need in a coaching training. So, for example, we have certified financial planners who come to our coaching training. They're really looking to understand more about that coach-client relationship, and they are already grounded in the financial aspects and have some solid financial training. So I think as all of our programs kind of start to work together more and come together, we'll be able to be a little more fluid in terms of helping people gather the select skills and foundation that they're looking for, regardless of the program. And if they're seeking a credential or a certification, there may be opportunities to use a different training for credit towards that other credential or the certification. So hopefully that adds a little bit more background to this intention.
Thank you. And this is Peggy Garcia Marquez, and I am also really active on the coaching side through ICF and ACTO, the Association of Coach Training Organizations, and we employ a philosophy of co-opetition. So it's people who get together from multiple organizations who train coaches and share best practices and work together so that we can all rise together. And I believe that that's also happening in the financial coaching field. Hali mentioned a financial coaching symposium that brings together leaders in the field, and a few weeks ago we were in Madison working on standard core competencies for the field, and I believe that we're all better together, and I completely agree with Peggy Olive in that we are letting the learner decide what fits best for them.
Thank you so much. Does anybody else have anything to add to that final thought?
So this is Sandra. So I'm just glad to see that we are finally talking about standards. So I think that people, what we're building as a field is exactly what we're trying to build for our clients, meeting learners where they are. Some folks may really need to start with financial content. That was the whole point of the way we adjusted to the module approach that we're using now. I know at Neighborworks, one of the top coaches in the country is a trainer for Neighborworks, Judy Coleman. So we have got now a depth and breadth of financial coaches that was just unheard of 5 years ago, and specifically 10 years ago. And so you all have an opportunity to really decide what's going to work best for you. I think I would like to think more of it as, how do I continue to grow? So if you start with Peggy and the A4 model and you really love this thing and this looks great and you say, I want to go on to a certification, that's one of the reasons we brought what we did, is that we wanted to have that idea of the certification and continuing education. And so we've been doing this since 2013 now, and we're finding people want this. CFPs come to us, CPAs come to us, counselors come, and it's often because they want to deepen what they've learned. Even if they've gone to C&M or Neighborworks or they come to us, it's the same thing. And so the idea is that how do you Build what you want to be as a professional. How do you get what you need? I think if you're not hearing anything else from us collectively, as the five of us on this call, is that this is an ongoing process. The reason I've gone to so many programs is because I work to get better all the time. Every single year I go to another coach training program, and I do that so that I can get better, so that I can be better for the field. And so when we're doing those kinds of things, we are rising all together. And so I would just say, if you're deciding what to do, find the one that's the right fit for you. And if you decide to go to more than one, that's what we're all here for, to help support all of you as you figure out what is going to be your best next step.
Thank you, Sandra. That was actually a very beautiful way to wrap up the presentations and the Q&A session, so thank you so much. I do have just a few additional financial coaching training resources that I wanted to provide today, and obviously due to the limited amount of time for presentations, we were not able to feature representatives from all financial coaching programs, training programs in the field, but I wanted to take just a couple of moments to share some information from two additional programs that have been kind enough to provide some information to me. So the first is Prosperity Agenda, and they have delivered financial coaching training since 2011 to over 750 practitioners in more than 300 nonprofits and public assistance agencies. For more information, please visit the link to their coaching training program that's provided right there. They have plenty of information on their site and contact information as well. The second organization that I wanted to provide some information is Mission Economic Development Agency, MEDA. And Lucy Areño is the Director of Asset Building Programs, and she has provided her information so that you can visit their site or reach out to her directly so that she can talk about how they've been evolving their financial capability model for years. It's a very human-centered and culturally specific model that focuses on debt, income, savings, credit, and safe banking. And they have a beautiful pamphlet that they provided us that I will post on our website following this webinar as well. So there will be plenty of resources posted. And I also wanted to post the Financial Clinic's Change Machine link to their online financial coaching platform. We also have a financial coaching strategies website that is hosted through UW Extension, and there's a specific portion on that website that is all about training opportunities in the field. So I just would like to thank everyone for participating in this webinar. Thank you so much, Peggy Olive, Rebecca Wiggins, Sandra Davis, Peggy Garcia Marquez, and Jana Bauer for providing these really amazing, in-depth, informative presentations on your training models. And thank you to the audience for joining us today. Please have a great day. Thank you so much.